we have to develop a system within us where there are no environmental settings. My mind is always excited. I am always having that level of energy. How to do that? We need to develop a capability within us, a competence within us, where we, under high pressure situations also, behave from an autonomous mode within us, where we always feel blissful or equanimous. And by the end of your 8 hours or whatever office shift, you should not feel that shift in mind. You should always feel that bliss. Balancing work and life, these days, people often ask me, and I often tell you, don't try to balance your work and life. Know that at both places, your life has to be lively, so you have to balance yourself. What really happens is, you wake up, get ready, so it will take around 2 hours. You drive maybe half an hour to 1 hour, sometimes more than that. But when you go to office, these days what's happening, in office you will have a series of meetings, a series of phone calls, or a series of discussions, or your own job you are trying to do focusedly for 8 hours period of time. That is like fighting small battles continuously. For example, if you have observed, when you play video games, involuntarily your entire body muscles become stiff when you are reaching the end. Am I clear with you? And then when you keep playing video games for some time and then close your eyes, that same video game image keeps running in your mind. In the same fashion, when you are playing small goals or small battles continuously in your office, now I have to go to this meeting, I have to talk, I have to convince. It's a small battle. But these continuous battles, you have 15, 20. And you know that tomorrow you're going to come back and going to do the same meetings, same kind of meetings, same work, same things. So what really happens is, when you are doing something like a battle, like a performance under pressure in your office, involuntarily your subconscious mind, your parasympathetic nervous system and sympathetic nervous system gets kicked in, and unnecessary muscles also get tightened, thereby increasing your mind's ability to run the same thing. And what happens when you go home? Now again, 1 hour drive, you go home, and this is the real problem. When you consistently fight small battles for 8 hours, your mind just replays that. And either you behave as if you are very tired when you go home, and then with your spouse and with your child, you behave the same way. Stressed. I've been talking whole life, so all through my work, so now I want peace of mind, I don't want you to talk. We behave differently with our spouse. Are you understanding what I'm trying to say? And differently with our child. This is what now you are asking, how to balance work and life, how to behave efficiently in my work, and how to gather that energy and that enthusiasm when I go home to have that life and house the enthusiasm of a spouse or a father or life. You understand? A person that you are supposed to be. In both cases, the best way is not to handle both, because what happens if you play video games for 8 hours, small battles for 8 hours, small tasks, which you even repeatedly do, but we are excited, you have to do it under pressure. What happens is, our mind goes into a loop. At that time, any change in environment, mind resists to be that over-enthusiast. That is the reason why, if you might have observed, from morning to evening, executive works, he goes to the office. Generally at their home, they behave very dull or silent or very different with their family. But when an office phone call comes, the energy springs up. 8 o'clock also these days, corporates, they have meetings, meetings from home. And then the spouse or the children observe. Office phone, this guy is very excited. When I want to talk to him, this guy is not excited. He feels stressed. Why? Because mind says, I can perform in one setting, I cannot perform in another setting. Are you understanding? So we have to develop a system within us where there are no environmental settings. My mind is always excited. I am always having that level of energy. How to do that? You can't directly do it because mind always works in specific encapsulated format. That is the reason why we need to develop a capability within us, a competence within us, where we, under high pressure situations, also behave from an autonomous mode within us, where we always feel blissful or equanimous. And by the end of your 8 hours or whatever office shift, you should not feel that shift in mind, you should always feel that bliss. Fundamentally, your mental RAM, like a computer, the more RAM it has, the more faster it can process. Your ability to enhance your RAM, your hardware and software capability of your system, your mental RAM and your mind's capability should increase. Then automatically you will find balance. Now, fundamentally, you will find this balance in work and life because you naturally have upgraded your mind's limitation to only deliver in a capsulated format. For example, office also, you say, the environment is good, you will feel more effective or more productive, they say. Not only friends or not only the colleagues, people, but also if your office is looking beautiful or it has nice presentation, then naturally people want to do a better job. That is the reason corporates spend so much money in decorating their offices. Why do you think so? Mind behaves in a capsulated form. They don't really bother about your work-life balance, so they get that done. Some corporates, that is the reason why very high-end corporates, they try to keep playful things in the office also to ensure to train the mind. But that is not the best effective way. Why? Because there you will go play, come back, and at home your mind will say again this environment is different. And I will tell you one more thing. Everybody these days is more concerned about work-life balance. I'll tell you. See, in office, you will do performance assessment, quality circles. In HR terms, they say we create quality circles. We rate our performance. We have targets. We have at home the same executive, the same top end guy goes to house and there is no performance evaluation, no, because we at home we do not create an environment of we as a company. I am the CEO, you are the managing director, my dear wife, and we need to develop a 20% CAGR in all fields of our productivity. We do not develop that mindset. Yes or no? And fundamentally, what do I mean by that growth in every field of productivity? As a spouse, as a father, how you are able to think. What really happens is when your mind thinks focusedly for 8 hours, 9 hours on one thing, it resists to think in another field. Are you understanding? For example, 9 hours you believe you are a software engineer. You think like a software engineer, and now suddenly you have to think like a husband and a father. It becomes very difficult. The mind wants rest. That is the reason, have you noticed, women generally in our olden days, even now also, they go to office also, they come back and they can work efficiently at home. Most women, most. Men, only 20% of them are they go to office and 20% only can efficiently also work at their home. Why is that so? Because fundamentally, women, wherever they go with a capsule that I and my family, first priority. Me, my child, first priority. So that mind doesn't skip or fall into that capsulated zones. But a male, when he goes to the office, he becomes officer. The child is not in the forefront of the mind. But for a female, 90%, what really happens is whatever she does, family comes first in her mind. I'm not talking about priorities here. And the identity, the female identity is coupled or attached with the family identity. So she goes there as a mother, she goes there as a spouse, she carries that weight there. So the mind always is in. Now that is the reason why women can multitask. So, how to improve your work life balance is by improving your capability and competence. How to do that? First, reduce your mental little talk. Well, I am not trying to advocate this but or publicize this, but this is true. When you do this, supramental meditations, I'm telling you, within a week, you automatically will experience that mental delimitation from that capsuled thought and experience a sense of serenity, calmness, and productivity happening in your life. But what will happen is you need to have a will to develop such a state of being. So don't try to balance your work and life, try to balance yourself. God bless you.